Wishing you all happiness, clarity, and freedom on another sunny day. We got the Apache Tier pendant soon to be coming to my crystal shop, Freedom Vibes Crystals. Aren't these absolutely beautiful? We're out here in the desert once again, and today we are talking about the moon. The moon in astrology. What does the moon represent in astrology? What does it mean? What does it mean in your life? What does it mean in my life? How can we track the transits of the moon to live a life of more awareness, to live a better life, to live a more freeing life, a life of freedom? We all want freedom. We all enjoy freedom. And in my life, astrology gives me so much freedom. It gives me awareness. It gives me the sense that everything is perfect. It gives me the sense that this story, this life is already planned out. Everything in your life is already planned out, and everything is for a reason. And this is what astrology means to me. This is the practical value of astrology in my life. I can track the planets, and I can understand why certain things are happening for me, right? I can understand why things are happening in my life. I can understand why I'm feeling a certain way. Moon in Scorpio. Why am I feeling so weird? Why am I feeling so off? Because it's Scorpio. It's dark. It's mysterious. It's taboo. And it's also square to Aquarius, which is basically who I am. So this is what astrology is for me. And the moon in astrology is one of the most important planets. I would argue that the moon is probably the most critical, the most important planet to track, and the most significant planet to track in astrology, right? It's the closest planet to Earth. It's what we can see at night. There's full moon. You can see it shining bright, shining its light down, reflected sunlight right on us. It's very apparent, right? And a lot of people believe that we came into this Earth and we passed through the moon. The moon was the last planet that our soul passed through, and that is our physical incarnation. Now who really knows, honestly? The more, we don't know. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. We can only speculate, but some people believe that we incarnated from the moon, came down to this Earth from the moon, and hey, I believe that. That seems to make a lot of sense to me. The moon is the closest planet. It's what we can see. It's very apparent, and throughout history, it has been highly regarded, right? The moon, the sun and the moon, the two big things in the sky are the sun and the moon. So with the moon, what does the moon represent? Let's start with that. What does the moon represent in astrology? First off, the moon is the ruling planet of the sign Cancer, okay? The zodiac sign Cancer, the crab. Now, Cancer is all about emotions, watery feelings, intuition, emotions, and caring and nurturing. The big thing with the moon is nurturing. That is the biggest thing, right? And the moon also represents the mother. It represents the mother figure, right? The mother gives her milk to the baby to nurture it, to feed it, to care for it. Caring, nurturing, emotional. This is the qualities of the moon, and that's what the moon represents, along with the zodiac sign of Cancer. So, the moon in astrology. When I look at the moon in astrology, I track what sign it's going through throughout the month, right? The month. The word month has moon in it. Monday, month, right? Because in 1 month, the moon goes around the entire zodiac. It takes 1 month for the moon to go around the entire zodiac, right? 1 month, that's why it's called a month. And Monday is also the day of the moon. So that's big as well. Now, when the moon travels around the zodiac, right, it starts with the new moon, when the sun and the moon are directly aligned, and then the light starts increasing in the waxing phase until we reach the full moon. When it's at peak brightness, peak energy, full moon, great time to do crazy things, I guess. It's a time of craziness. It's peak energy. It's high energy. And the new moon, which we're actually at right now, is a time to go within. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to draw inwards and start new beginnings, set new intentions for the coming new cycle. So, we reach the full moon. We're peak energy. Everything is at a maximum. We're peak. Our lives are crazy. It could be really crazy. It could be really great. It also could be really really bad, really, really intense and not easy. Depends on the configurations, but when the moon, after the full moon, we have the waning cycle where we're now decreasing in light, and then we come back to the new moon. So when the moon goes around, it passes through all 12 zodiac signs. And what I notice is that when the moon transits through a certain sign of the zodiac, that correlates to a certain house in my natal chart. We all have a set of houses. Each sign of the zodiac is a different house in your chart, depending on your rising sign. Comment down below your rising sign. I'm a Pisces rising. Let me know what you guys are. And this is super critical because your rising sign determines your houses. For example, I'm Pisces rising, so that is my first house. And the next sign, Aries, that is my second house, right? And then Taurus would be my third, and so on. So this is the moon, and when it transits, each month it transits through all 12 houses and hits all 12 areas of your life throughout the course of a month. And this is the power of the moon. The moon is anchoring in energies from the cosmos, depending on which planets it's configured to. So for example, when the moon is going past Jupiter, you might expect beautiful, expansive, wonderful, positive things to be anchored into your life, depending on which house it is transiting through. So for example, Jupiter is in Pisces. This is my first house. Okay, so when the moon transits over Pisces and Jupiter, I can expect things to come down into this physical reality related to my first house, which is your body, your physical body, your self, your sense of self, right? So that's how this works. That's what I notice from astrology, right? The moon transits through all the houses, things come down, things happen into this physical reality as the moon transits through the signs, and we can use astrology to become aware of the energies we're feeling, the things that are happening in our life on a 3D level. And also, the moon represents physical reality, physical density. The moon is our physical incarnations. It represents our body. It represents the feminine energy, right? And the sun is all masculine, emitting light, and the moon is the feminine energy that receives the light. And it represents our physical body, nurturing your physical body, food, okay? The moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus, which is connected to the throat. So the moon has a lot to do with food, nourishment, physical nourishment on a physical level. The moon has everything to do with 3D reality, physicality, our bodies, nature, plants, right? And there are also plants that are connected to the moon as well, such as aloe vera, very cooling, very feminine, connected to the moon. So the moon is wonderful. The moon is our physical incarnation. The moon anchors in energies. The moon anchors in things from the cosmos, okay? And like I said, every month the moon travels around the entire zodiac. The moon's going to hit Jupiter. The moon's going to hit Mars. The moon's going to hit Venus. The moon is going to hit Saturn. The moon is going to hit Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, Mercury, all in the course of 1 month. And that's the cycle, the waxing, full moon, and then the waning, back to the sun, new moon, starting the new cycle, starting the new season. And Sagittarius season is coming, guys. Sagittarius season is here. And we're having the new moon in Sagittarius, which is wonderful for new positive beginnings. Check out my video on the new moon in Sagittarius if you have not already. And yes, the moon will represent the things in this life that happen to you, and it's so wonderful to track the transits of the moon. I have an app on my phone, Astro Gold, where I track the moon transits. Or like I said, moon going through Scorpio. We're going to feel heavy energies. We're going to feel dense energies. Life might seem harder for you, okay? Especially if you are an Aquarius. But maybe if you're a Scorpio, it might be better for you. Or if you're a Cancer or a Pisces, trine to Scorpio, that might be better for you. But, depending on the signs, depending on your natal chart, depending on where the planets are right now, this is going to determine what effect the moon is going to have on your life. And it goes very deep. It gets very complicated, right? The moon, it aspects all the planets. It's going to have a trine to Mars when it's in Aquarius and Libra. It's going to have a sextile to another planet when it's in another sign. And it's very complicated throughout the course of the month. And that's why life is so complex. Life is dynamic. Life is not one single thing. Life is not this thing and that's it. Okay, life is change. Life is change. Change is the only constant in this life. Life is always changing. Life is always moving forward. The energy is always shifting. The energy is always transforming. And that's the beauty of life and the beauty of the moon, right? The moon in astrology represents change. It is the fastest moving planet. It represents change. It represents changing seasons, changing cycles. Because every month we start a new cycle. We start with the new moon and we start a new cycle. And that's why life is always changing. Life never feels the same, right? 2 years ago, life was completely different, right? Even 2 months ago, life was completely different than what your life is now. Life is always changing, and that's the beauty. And we need to remember this. We always need to remember this. You know, if you're going through a hard time for a couple days, it's not going to last, right? And this is what is so useful for astrology for me. It teaches me, it shows me that nothing lasts forever. Yes, the moon's going to go through Scorpio. Yes, the moon's going to hit Mars, and it might be challenging. The moon's going to hit Saturn, and you might have a challenging situation in your life, but it's not going to last forever, right? It always passes. Things come and things go in this life. Nothing lasts forever, so we can count on that. We can count on the moon to move. We can count on the energy to change. We can count on the energy to shift, and that's the beauty of astrology. That is the beauty of the moon. That life never stays the same. Even the good times, they don't last forever. It's a wave. Life is a wave. Life is like a wave. And the moon shows us this. The moon is the watery wave. Up and down, energy shifts. We're feeling good, and then we're feeling bad. You know, the zodiac sign Cancer has to do with moodiness as well. Sometimes we're feeling great. Sometimes we're feeling amazing. And the next day, we're feeling down. We're feeling sad for no apparent reason, right? That's life. That's the beauty of life. Hey, I love it. I'm here for it. You're here for it as well. We're in this together. And much love to all of you. Okay, much love to every single one of you. I want to wish you the best on your journey. The best. I want to wish you the best holiday. And I want to wish you the best in life. Because you deserve it. Because you are amazing. Much love to you. You are spectacular, talented, wonderful in your own unique way. I want to say to make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.